And to the US we go. The US presidential debate was a showcase of personal attacks and chaotic exchanges in a 90-minute head-to-head in Cleveland, Ohio. Democrat Joe Biden sharply attacked Republican President Donald Trump's handling of the coronavirus pandemic during the first debate between the two presidential candidates. Biden said Trump had panicked and failed to protect Americans, while Trump defended his approach. In a chaotic first debate marked by repeated interruptions by Trump, Biden said the president was more concerned with the economy and stock market than he was with blunting the spread of the virus. With more than 1 million Americans already casting early ballots and time running out to change minds or influence undecided voters, the stakes were enormous as the two White House candidates took the stage 5 weeks before the November election. The two contenders did not shake hands as they entered the debate, adhering to protocols on social distancing because of the coronavirus. Biden has held a consistent lead over Trump in national opinion polls, although surveys in the battleground states that will decide the election show a closer contest.
People out there need help.
But why didn't you do it over the last 25 years?
Because you weren't president. Because you weren't president screwing things up.
You were a senator. And
You're
by
the
way,
worst
you were
president America has ever had.
Hey,
Come
Joe,
on.
let me just tell you, Joe. I've done more in 47 months. I've done more than you've done in 47 years, Joe.
All right, that's the end of the segment. We're moving on.
He didn't take them.
Well,
Vice President, no.
Can I be honest? It's a very important
Try to be
question.
honest.
He stood up.
No,
He stood up,
the answer to
and
the
he
question is no.
Oh, that's just a glimpse into what went down a few hours ago. Well, let's speak to SABC News correspondent in the US show and Bryce P's show. And this has been all the reports that I'm reading about this, and just the little bit of a glimpse that I did get into it. It was chaos on another level. Good morning to you. Talk to us. What went down?
I mean, as a journalist and a morning news anchor, I would, say I guess you had to watch it, right? But if you really didn't have to, you wouldn't have missed much. I mean, it was chaos. Some of the descriptions are, it was a dumpster fire, Leanne, a chaotic presidential debate, not a debate, a disaster, a bruising debate for the American people. I mean, it's difficult to sort of draw a straight line or a thread between how this debate started about the topic of the Supreme Court. It then moved on to the criminal justice reform. They talked a little bit about climate change, but you couldn't really hear what either one was saying, because President Donald Trump in the main, Leanne, really did interrupt constantly. At one point, the moderator was so exasperated, Fox News' Chris Wallace, saying to the president, should we, change roles and change seats here, because he could not control the president. And, he's going to get a lot of flack for this, particularly from the left in this country, particularly the Biden campaign, because he was unable to rein in the president. But the question I have is, and you and I have moderated events, how do you rein in a president that is running amok, where he just doesn't adhere to the rules the campaigns have agreed to in terms of you get 2 minutes, the other person gets 2 minutes? This was complicated for Chris Wallace, and I really felt sorry for him having to deal with a president that wasn't there to debate. He was really just there to attack, and really, I don't know if this helped him in any way, particularly in those battleground states that you were talking about.
Yeah, and I mean, that's exactly what it was characterized by. I mean, every time you would watch it, you saw that President Donald Trump would interrupt Joe Biden. No matter what he was saying, you could not get him to stop. I mean, eventually there was one telling each other to shut up, the other one calling the other one a clown. I mean, it just got, it was insane. I mean, just to watch that, I think, as many have said, this is probably one of the most chaotic debates that has ever happened. But I don't think it was unexpected, because there's a lot to talk about. I mean, let's start at the tax issue, because that already in the New York Times expose that came out over the weekend, saying that Donald Trump had only paid $750 in income tax in 1 year. This was brought up, but many were disappointed that it was shot down very quickly by Trump, and Biden couldn't really dig more in. So, I mean, talk to us about that.
There just wasn't an opportunity for Biden to really get into the nuts and bolts of whatever the issue was, whether it was healthcare, Obamacare, whether it was appointing, a justice to the U.S. Supreme Court, whether it was the tax story out of the New York Times. In fact, the president debunking the reporting in the New York Times that says in both 2016, when he was elected president, and in 2017, after his first year in office, he only paid $750 in taxes. This is a supposedly billion-dollar president who paid less tax, according to the New York Times reporting, than a fireman or a policeman or a teacher in the United States. But the president going on the record, Leanne, today saying that he paid, quote, millions of dollars in personal income taxes, which, of course, we would all be able to know if he were to release his tax returns, but consistently since before the 2016 election has said that he is being audited by the Internal Revenue Service, and that while he's under audit, he will not be able to do that, release those tax returns. He says he's still under audit and cannot do that. IRS officials, former IRS officials, have told us that there is nothing in their protocols that prevent the president from releasing his tax returns, especially to debunk some of the things he says the New York Times is lying about. You know, this is fake news, so prove it, Mr. President, but he refuses to do that.
Yeah. I mean, I could talk to you for a lot longer. I wish I could, in fact, because there is so much to talk about. But I know that straight away you see polls coming up as to see who, in fact, I mean, it's the different news agencies to say who won that debate. Who won that debate? It's a tough question, but what is it saying so far?
Yeah, a lot of people who thought the president was going to win the debate felt that he lost the debate. And a lot of people that thought Biden was going to lose the debate are saying he won the debate. But look, these are these sort of instant polls some of the networks do here. They're not really a perfect snapshot, right? I mean, they talk to a very small group of people to get their sort of immediate reactions. What's going to be interesting to see, Leanne, the real numbers here are, have the polls shifted in anyone's favor? Does Biden extend his he's from 8 to 10 point lead in the national polls? You know, what's going to happen in swing states like Florida, where things are really, really close right now? Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, Iowa, Ohio, Arizona, those swing states where the president must stitch together a network of wins if he's to retain the presidency. Remember, this was he had the biggest mountain to climb here, did President Donald Trump. The incumbent has been lagging consistently in the polls here, so he had the largest amount of work to do here, and given his performance tonight, I'm not sure that was achieved.
Well, let's leave it there. We'll see what happens in the next two debates, because there are two more debates. And, I mean, obviously, they start to learn each other's tactics and hope that, you know, there'll be more that come out of it, because I'm not sure anything new came out of this one. Just give us a final closing on that.
The final thought is that the next debate is not between these two. It's going to be between the two vice presidential candidates, Kamala Harris, Mike Pence. It's going to be a different tenor. I think you might get a little bit more substance.
Yeah, which is important, because some saying there was a lot of substance missing on this one. Sherwin Rice-Peace, thanks very much for joining us here on Morning Live. So, of course, that's talking to that US debate that was taking place around about 2 hours ago. And it was in Ohio. And as you heard, it was chaos, to say the least. But you'll see a lot more of it coming through on today. So as you wake up, that's what you'll see.